Hey everyone, welcome back. Rebecca Jones here. I'm going to be showing you how to paint these 3 minimalist terracotta style paintings. I've seen a lot of these kind of paintings on Pinterest, on Instagram, and it's just something very simple to do. Things that you can put in your living room, your bedroom, or your office. So let's get into it. So this is going to be a very minimalist design. You don't need a paintbrush or paint. You are done. Okay, I'm kidding, of course. This first painting is going to be the sun, the moon, and some flowers. I'm making a imperfect circle as my sun using a pale blush color. And if you want to know how to get certain colors of your paint by mixing them, I do have a video and I'll link that below on how to do just that. So the brush I'm using here has a bit of a rounded point, and it's from the brand Mont Marte, I believe. I really like these brushes. I've had them for over a year and they're just really strong, durable, great quality. So I'll link that in the description below. Now I'm just painting my moon with a dark coral color. Just want to fill it in, give it a nice solid color. I find that the rounded point works really great for something like this, just gives you that full thick stroke and you can kind of fade it out towards the tip. Next, I grabbed just a cheap random little paintbrush that has a fine tip on it. You can get one like this at any craft store, but I'm just using it to get those really tiny details at the edge of the moon. I did want to mention that I water down my paint just a little bit before I start. This gives me a better consistency for my paint so I can make cleaner lines. And I do have to give it a couple more layers sometimes. For this one in particular, I did have to go over with another layer. But if you prefer more of a watercolor look, then that works great too. So now we're going to add some flowers. Here I'm just making a long, thin, curved stem, and I'm going to make 2 stems. This one's for a flower and the second for some leaves. You can curve them towards each other, away from each other, however you think would best fit your painting. Now we're going to start making some petals. Here I'm using a lighter color, but I did end up changing that later on and you will probably notice that. But this is a bit of an abstract flower here, just going to make some large leaves at the top facing upwards and some random smaller ones at the base. And this is the moment where I spilled some paint. Thankfully, it didn't land on my skirt and it kind of just disappeared. I'm not really sure where it went, but moving on. Just gonna add some leaves here to both sides of the stem. Want to keep them rounded in the center and a little bit pointed towards the edge, but they don't have to be perfect. Now, I wasn't really satisfied with the first color choice I went with on my leaves and my flower, so I changed it to a darker coral. And here I'm just adding a little accent to the center of my leaves and a little bit of a center to my flower with a lighter shade of yellow. And we're done with the first painting. For this next painting, I'm going with those very trendy rainbows that are happening right now. So you're just going to want to make a curved arch, kind of like those rainbows we would make when we were little, but it's a thing now, so I'm going with it. And I like it. I think it's cute. You can make the arches thicker and thinner on different lines. And I'm gonna make a second rainbow upside down on the top left corner. So here I'm just going in with a different shade of peach. A darker shade of coral on my upper rainbow. You can just play around with the colors here. It's a lot of fun to try different combinations. If it doesn't work, just paint another layer over the top of your lines and you're good. So here's where things started getting a little messy. Basically, I grabbed from the wrong shade in my color palette, cleaned it up and did it again. Cleaned that up and I realized I got paint on my sweater. So sleeves going up and we are gonna keep going forward. Hopefully no more mistakes, but we'll see. After finishing this last line, I was pretty content with how the painting turned out, so time to move on to the next one. So with this painting, I was inspired from Pinterest, my go-to for inspiration. Here I'm just doing some abstract flowers in a pattern, so they don't have to be perfect. In fact, it's all the better if they are not. And I did start with a dark color. We're gonna go into a lighter color with the next layer. So with this layer, kind of just gonna repeat, making it go to a point at the bottom. After that, I'm making my stem, so I'm starting here with just some thin random lines that just fade out and upward on the flower. And after that, I'm going to make the actual stem with just a thin short line. I decided to add some leaves on the same pattern for each flower. And you're done. I absolutely love the fun pop of color that this brings to my wall in my art area. If you guys decide to do any of these paintings or all of them, please send me pictures. I would love to see it. Thank you everyone for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you want to see more great content like this or behind the scenes, you can follow me at The Virtual Florist. We are on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Till next time, and as always, happy painting.